YouTube? Haven't vlogged, like daily vlog type situation in a little bit. So that's what we're doing today. Also, we got business up top. Sloth on the bottom. Hey! I'm not entirely sure why you guys like day in the life videos, because this is how they typically go. What's up, YouTube? It's this random day that I'm gonna spend 10 minutes trying to figure out what day it is. Also, I'm at home watching Lifetime. Also, there's my cat. Where's the other one? Oh, there it is. And that's about it. But ask and ye shall receive. Also, I'm yelling. Also not new. Do you guys like my computer? I don't know if I've vlogged with this computer yet other than the day that I set it up. Remember how mad I was about having to get it? And now guess how much I love it. I love you so much. Another super duper necessary part of my vlogs. Would I even be me without it? I don't think so. But yeah, I actually wanted to vlog today specifically to talk about dieting breaks and also to give you guys an update about my diet that I have been on since January 1st. So it probably depends on how long you've been following me, but basically I have been trying to lose weight since January 1st. Actually, I've been trying to lose weight for the last 18 months, but taking it seriously since January 1st. So I've just been tracking my macros. What I've been doing for my diet is I've been carb cycling, which is when you have higher carbs some day and lower fats, and then other days you have lower carbs and higher fats. This is the first time that I've dieted myself like that I can think of. I know that different coaches of mine have used it in the past and it always worked really well for me, but on my own, I've never really done it because it was just like too much to keep track of in my mind. Like I didn't want to go that deep into my like tracking. But I decided to do it this time just because on the days that I don't work out, I literally sit all day. I sit all day in school and then I come home and sit at my desk all day. So I decided that on the days that I was literally doing nothing, I might as well lower my intake a little bit since I'm not burning any calories really. I don't like to give my macros out, but I figure I will give you guys at least a range of where I've been. I have been tracking all the stuff that I eat strictly. Like I make sure that I track pretty much everything that I eat, but I've not been super strict on what numbers I hit. So on my high carb days, which is basically any day that I lift and do cardio, which is usually 4 days a week, my fats have been between like 55 and 65. My carbs have been anywhere between like 150 and 180, and my protein has been usually between 110 and 130. So super big ranges. Basically, I would just make sure that at the end of the day, I was hitting around 1700 calories, maybe 1750. And then on my low carb days, I was doing about 80 grams of carbs, and it's slowly creeped up to closer to like 100 grams of carbs on my low carb day. And protein is usually the same, somewhere between 110 and 130. And fats on my low carb days are usually like 70 grams or so. The calories on my low carb days are like between 1450 to 1500 usually. So this is just like a loose kind of what I've been doing, but I definitely, like I said, I've not been super duper strict on them. Just trying to make sure there's always a distinction between my low carb days and my high carb days, and also that if I'm having high carbs, my fats are not as high, and if I'm doing low carbs and my fats are high. Are we following me? I feel like I've been really confusing so far, but that's just kind of the essence of who I am as a person. So if you can't keep up, then you can't keep up. I can't slow down. So I have not had to change my macros since I started dieting in January. Like these macros have continued to work for me since January. So since January 1st, until about 2 weeks ago, I lost a little over 9 pounds. And so that was a little over 9 pounds in about 8 weeks, I wanna say, which is good. Like that's really great, especially since like the last week, like that 8th week, I was just like kind of inconsistent. I couldn't work out as much as I wanted to. So really I lost 9.5 pounds in like 7 weeks because the 8th week was like kind of a wash. And so then the 9th week of this year was 2 weeks ago on my spring break. So I had a spring break from school and I had every intention of staying on my diet that week until that week came. And then suddenly I did not want to be on my diet. I was so mentally taxed and stressed out from school, like to a degree I can't even describe. I don't think I've ever been more stressed out and pushed as I've been in school, period, but like going into spring break, I was so done mentally. Dieting has not really been a stressful thing for me at all this year, just because I'm not super duper rigid with it. Like I live my life and I'm dieting, but I've just not let it get to me like I have let it get to me in the past, which is why I've been able to kind of like do it as long as I've done it. But for spring break, I just decided, you know what? I'm gonna like completely let myself relax this week. I'm not gonna work out a ton. I'm going to I'm not gonna track my macros very strictly. I'm gonna kind of keep an eye on calories, and I'm gonna give myself a break. I'm not gonna be cutting. I'm gonna move back to maintenance calories or even above if I want to, and I'm just gonna give myself a break. So I essentially had a diet break. Now, a diet break is a real thing, and it can be good for you. And sometimes in the middle of dieting, you need a diet break, either for psychological reasons or for physical reasons. Why you might need one for psychological reasons is because mentally you're so overtaxed by having to track your macros, because if you've tracked macros before, you know that you can kind of get into a head funk about it, where you feel really restricted with your diet and you feel like it's really overwhelming. You feel like you can never have the food that you want. You are sick of being tired and hungry all the time. So if that's where you're at with that, and you find it really, really, really mentally hard to stick to your diet, then sometimes a week off from your diet just kind of gets you back in the game, makes you more motivated to get back on track, and kind of gives you the release that you need to kind of not be hungry for once. And then physically, there are lots of reasons why you may physically need a diet break. Usually it's if you've been dieting for a long period of time, and it also depends on how lean you already are. So the leaner you are, the more frequent your diet breaks should be. So for myself, I started this cut at about 24 to 25% body fat, and over the last 8-9 weeks or whatever, I got down to about 23.5% body fat, which is not that lean. It's leaner than a lot of people, but it's not so lean that my body physically needed a diet break. I probably could have gone a full 12 weeks without needing a diet break for any reason. Now, if you're heavier, you are 30% body fat or above, you probably won't need a diet break until you start getting to 22%, 23% body fat. But also, if you diet for 6 months straight, you're gonna need a diet break, because your body can't be in a caloric deficit for 6 months without crapping out on you hormonally. In case you didn't know, when we diet, there's a whole bunch of hormones in our body that start to just drain over time. Fat burning hormones, happy hormones, thyroid hormones, all that kind of stuff. The longer that we're in a deficit, the more that those hormones start to drain and get down. And the lower that those hormones are, especially a hormone called leptin, the harder it is for you to continue burning fat. Because when those hormone levels are low, your body's not happy, and it's not going to be so conducive with fat burning. And when you raise calories back up to maintenance, in even just a week of going back to maintenance, you can kind of restore a lot of those hormones. Unless you're in a really, really terrible state, you just came off of a competition stage and you're 6% body fat, then you probably need to be in maintenance a lot longer than that. But for your average dieter, after 12 weeks of dieting or 16 weeks of dieting, if you take a week off from your diet and go into maintenance for a week, that week should be enough, and you should be able to hop back into dieting, and your hormone levels should be a little bit more regulated. So that's the main physical need for taking a diet break, is just to restore those hormone levels and get your body out of being in a deficit for so long. I know a lot of health crazed people don't like the thought of people being in a caloric deficit, but sorry, that's how people lose body fat. If someone is overweight or wants to lose weight, you have to be in a caloric deficit for some period of time. You can't just eat really healthy, because you can get fat eating really healthy if you're eating too many healthy foods. Eating too much of any kind of food is gonna make you gain weight. It's just how it goes. That's why I track macros, so that I know how much I'm eating on a daily basis, and so I can make sure I'm in a caloric deficit when I wanna be in a caloric deficit, and that I'm in not a caloric deficit when I just wanna maintain my weight. That's another video for another day though. So yes, for me, my diet break last week was pretty much psychological. I know that after 8 weeks, my body wasn't tired of dieting, and it wasn't too lean to where it needed a diet break. I just decided I want a diet break because I'm struggling to stick to this diet right now because I'm so tired of it. And to me, that's a psychological reason as to why you would take one. When I see my clients get to a point where they are struggling really hard to stick to their diet and they just don't want to, they're fed up with it, they still have this goal of losing some weight, but they're just so mentally and emotionally fed up with sticking to their diet, that's when I'm like, all right, you know what? You need to take a break from your diet for either a week, or sometimes if they're really fed up, sometimes I'm like, girl, bye for a month. You need to get off this diet for a month, and we'll talk in a month. Because I can tell sometimes my clients are literally so upset about tracking macros, and they're so over dieting. They still have a goal, but they're just over it. So I'm like, you need to just take time off. But yeah, I was not to that point of needing to take a ton of time off. I knew girl, if you just give yourself a week of being on maintenance calories and you're not gonna be hungry anymore for a week, you're gonna be good. You're gonna be able to go right back on track. And I was right. Now here's the thing though, when it comes to a diet break, that's not just a diet free-for-all. That's not just 7 days of just eating whatever you want, full of crap, 6,000 calories a day. I mean, you can do that, but you will gain unwanted weight and like undo your progress from so far in the year. The smart way to do it really is to just raise your calories to maintenance level or within like 200 or 300 calories of maintenance level. So for me, maintenance level for me, I've done like kind of the math based on how fast I was losing weight and where I imagine my metabolism is at. I believe maintenance for me was about 23 to 2,500 calories a day, maybe a little bit more some days. So for my diet break, I tried to stay between 2,500 and 3,000 calories a day. I definitely had a day or two where I went above that just because I wanted to, but for me that's part of the dieting break process, is to let yourself have the freedom to go over even your maintenance level a day or two if you want to, if you have a reason to. So I did. But the rest of the week, I did generally stay between 25 to 3,000 calories because I didn't want to end the diet break having gained a ton of weight. I wanted to end the diet break enjoying food that week and being able to eat a lot that I wanted to eat, but not wrecking the last 8 weeks of dieting, you know what I mean? And so, like I said, there were a couple of days that I went probably close to like 35 to 3,800 calories, which is kind of a lot, and you know, that's 1,000 calories over my maintenance. Now, if I did that 3 or 4 times in a week, that's 1 pound that I've gained, you know, scientifically you would say. But overall, I did well. I enjoyed the food that I wanted to enjoy, and then when I started school on last Monday, I was like ready to go, super motivated, felt so like, yes, I am refreshed, I can diet for 8 more weeks, I'm good. So the diet break was a success in my opinion, and it was totally worth taking. When I got back to school after my diet break, I think that first day I was up like 3 or 4 pounds, maybe more, from having I think the day before I went back to school was one of the days where I had like 4,000 calories or something. And so the next day my weight was up because of that, but within like 2 days, it was down 3 pounds. So like within 2 or 3 days, I was only 1 or 2 pounds maybe away from my lowest weight so far, which is a good sign. That means that your body did well with the extra calories for a week and it didn't cause you to gain a bunch of weight, and your metabolism is flexible and working with you, and your body didn't mind the diet break. That's what we want. But obviously if I had gone hard all 7 days of my diet break, if just for 7 days straight I ate like 5,000 calories a day, which I don't think I'd even could physically do, but if I did, then I probably would have gained legitimately like 5 or 6 pounds, as opposed to the like maybe half a pound or 1 pound that I actually gained on my diet break. But again, it's worth it to me. You take 1 week off and you gain 1 pound, but you get like mentally refreshed and feel 1,000 times better. Totally worth it, because in another week that pound's gonna be right off, if not more weight, and then you just carry on with your diet and you're refreshed and you're feeling cool. At least that's my perspective. But yes, so that's my speech on the diet break. To wrap it all up, when should you take one? When you psychologically feel like you need one, or when you physically feel like you need one. I should say too that a sign that you need one physically is that you're in a caloric deficit and you know that you are, and you're not losing any weight. Or your body is becoming super sensitive to where if you just overeat by a couple hundred calories, the scale is up like 2 or 3 pounds the next day. That could be a sign that your body is really stressed out and it really needs a break from dieting. Or also if you're like really, really exhausted, tired, loss of strength in the gym, that could be a sign too. But in general, you don't want to be throwing diet breaks around willy-nilly when you're trying to cut. If you're legitimately trying to cut, like, you don't need to be taking one every 4 weeks. I would say as a general rule, probably one every 12 weeks would be adequate. And if you as a woman are above like 30 to 35% body fat, you probably could go 16 weeks without a diet break, but just feel it out. It's not gonna hurt to take a diet break. I mean, unless you take one every other week. And so regarding my personal weight loss goals, where I'm at right now, I believe I'm around 153, 154. My lowest so far was like 152 or just under that. My ultimate goal would be like 145 right now. I think that's where I want to be. I think that will put me at about 21 to 22% body fat. I know I never want to get below 20% body fat, because for me, that's when like everything starts malfunctioning. Like I just don't feel good. I'm continually hungry and cranky. So yes, I'm hoping to be done with dieting in about 8 weeks. No, I guess that would be like 7 weeks. I get out of school in 7 weeks. I would love to be done dieting when I get out of school. It could be done. I could be 145 by then. I mean, it's like 8 or 9 pounds in, that's not really a super tall order, but like that is gonna take some dedication. I did get, 9 pounds off the first 8 weeks, but as time goes on, it gets increasingly harder to continue to lose the same amount of weight that you were in the beginning. So I may have to diet for like 10 more weeks as opposed to just 7 to really get to where I feel comfortable. But if that's the case, that's the case. I'd rather do this thing slowly than to like crash diet myself down to where I want to be and then immediately gain it back. In general, I'm really proud of where my metabolism is right now. I'm eating more than I ever have in a diet that I can remember and like steadily losing weight on that. And I've had more like untracked meals or diet breaks or off days in the last like 2.5 months than I ever have in any of my dieting histories, and my body has been so flexible with it, which again is just a good sign of a healthy metabolism that's gonna pick things up, that's not gonna miss a beat when you take an off meal, that's not gonna gain 6 pounds overnight because you ate pizza. Like, that's all signs of your body being healthy and being in a good place, like metabolically. So I'm really, really happy about that. I'm not doing anything to rock that boat. I'm gonna keep doing what I've been doing, which is just the carb cycling, giving my body what it needs on the days that I'm working out, and going a little bit lower carb on my non-workout days. And yeah, so that's all I got. But yes, that's gonna wrap up this vlog for now. Thought it was gonna be in a day in the life, but this vlog is now 400 minutes long and I don't have time to make it a day in the life, so sorry. Maybe next time. All right, as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next vlog. Bye!